global payroll, it needs to have a centralized system to run it efficiently and effectively. The validation that come along with it, because that plays a major role. No matter how much a system is automated, but then I think unless and until we have the right validating factors, we cannot, ensure to churn out an accurate payroll. So I think that's one of the key takeaways.
Thank you so much. Ian, I'd love to hear from you. What's yours?
So one piece of advice I would give to payroll teams aiming to level up is probably embrace automation and analytics. If you can streamline processes with tools that automate repetitive tasks, you're winning. If you can reduce the amount of time you spend tracking time, tax calculations, and compliance checks, then absolutely great. It also reduces the possibility of human error and free up time to get to the strategic, the value adding stuff that we've been talking about. If you prepare that, if you pair it with the analytics side of things to gain insights into payroll trends like overtime or benefits take up, and that's not something that we've really mentioned as well, being able to see what your employees are actually taking up means you can actually change things. Let's not just do what we're doing for the sake of it. If you know that X percentage of your employee or headcount is wanting pet insurance, look at that for something. If in a different country they're wanting more health benefits, this kind of information is where it is, payroll is where it is going to come from. And it also gives the payroll team the empowerment and the knowledge that what they are doing is valuable. And, I've worked in some large payrolls, 100,000 people per payroll cycle. You do not get 100,000 thank yous every single payroll cycle. You get the 5, the 6, the 10 complaints about something being wrong. Payroll needs to feel valued.
Goodness, I think I want to applaud that one. I wish we could have 30 more minutes to go through some of that too, like collecting data that inform decisions, right? Really using that to drive the right actions and so on. Goodness, you saved some of the best pieces for last, Ian. Thank you. Michael, anything you would like to share with the audience as your key takeaway?
I would go back to something and then add one other kind of additional point to it. So, kind of what Ian said and what I said too, think about where you want to be and then work backwards from there into digestible, milestones and try to figure out how you're going to get there, because it's going to take time and it's going to take a lot of buy-in and convincing from the organization. Because even though I think many execs, if you told them, are people a big part of our company, they would say yes. When it comes down to brass tacks and money part of it, usually it gets deprioritized. You're going to have to make a very convincing argument on why you need to greatly advance your kind of HR position and how you deal with HR and pay within your organization. So that's one piece. But the other piece I want to just call out is there are so many times where I see these strategies get built and they almost never talk about the customer, which is the employee. So just when you're really building out these experiences, think about what's that employee, what's that user experience going to be like? Not to pick on Workday, but Workday's gotten a lot of criticism about their recruiting experience and how you always have to have a new login every time you apply for a job. They've Business Insider wrote about this, and that's a really frustrating experience. And there's a reason why an admin would want that from a data perspective and an organization would want that, but the users are being kind of forgotten about. And we've done that a lot historically in payroll too. And I think we just need to make sure as we build these better experiences that we're always thinking about how can we pay these employees the most accurate, the most expedient way? How can we get them access to the money they earned as quickly as we can? And so that's the only other piece of advice as you're building these strategies. Think about how can you improve that experience for your workers at your company.
Thank you, Michael, for that last nugget of wisdom from you. And if I had to sort of wrap this up myself, the thing that I've heard and has come up so many times is we talked about the technical nature of payroll, the systems, the tools, the data, all those sorts of things. But you all out there listening in have probably heard these other pieces that keep resurfacing. It's about the interaction, the trust, the value we give our people, what they get from us, and ultimately how we make them feel. Do we make them feel appreciated? Do we make them feel like this pays incidental thing, or this is how we're reminding you that you have value to us as an organization? That's one of the key things, the top of minds I'm working on.